how do you hope the war in Ukraine will end?
The only way that this war ends is to do exactly what we're talking about. There has to be a brokered dialogue and conversation about peace that has to occur with representatives from Russia and Ukraine. It is really truly heartbreaking to see both how efforts that began just weeks after Russia invaded Ukraine to do exactly this were thwarted by the Biden-Harris administration and other Western powers, has cost so many innocent people's lives. And this is where I have friends in Ukraine. I've been there more than a few times. I've enjoyed and appreciated the time that I've spent there. I when I hear from my friends about how afraid they are of their husbands being conscripted and, you know, feeling like they have to hide for fear of being yanked off the streets, their friends and family members who've been killed in this war. The only way this ends is when both sides come to the table and find an agreement that neither side is going to be completely happy with, both sides being forced to make some concessions, but one where they will both walk away and this war can end.
What's the role of the U.S. president, perhaps, to bring everybody to the table? Do you think that the U.S. president should sit down with Zelensky and Putin together?
Yes. Yes. In an ideal world, yes. This should have happened long ago. The question of whether or not President Biden is the right person to do that at this time, when all of the statements and comments that they have made, the Biden-Harris administration has made from the beginning of this war, essentially point to their objective being to basically destroy Russia. And that's one of the reasons why they have supported both the continuation of this war for as long as it's lasted, as well as why they have thwarted efforts towards peace. Whoever that most effective neutral broker is, that's the best person to do this. The Biden-Harris administration, I think the role that they have to take is actually encouraging Zelensky to sit down and begin this process. Those kinds of engagements are to me, the most powerful exercises of diplomacy that can't be matched, especially when our president's foremost role and responsibility is to serve as commander-in-chief. And I wish that we had leaders who were more willing to engage, because I think we'd make a lot more progress more quickly, and to find areas both of mutual interest as well as to help deconflict and de-escalate areas where there is tension or disagreement or adversarial interests.
Well, some of it is basic human camaraderie. People call me naive for this, but sometimes just knowing that there's a human on the other side, even like when it's in private, if you look at Zelensky and Putin, for example, just humor. Both are very intelligent, witty, at times even funny people. Yes, this is wartime. Yes, a lot of civilians and soldiers are dying. There's hate. But if you can look above it all and think about the future of the countries, the flourishing of a people, and the stopping of the death of civilians and soldiers, then in that place you can have that basic human connection.
I agree. I don't think that's naive at all. And I think there are so many examples through history that point to the power of that, the real power in that. In the Cuban Missile Crisis, how JFK had to literally find a secret way to communicate with Khrushchev to try to go around the backs of the military commanders who were urging him to take military action, and instead find, hey, we both ultimately want the same thing. Neither of us wants to launch a catastrophic nuclear war, so let's figure this out.
Of course, there's examples throughout history. Leaders are complicated people. They're manipulative people. So you have like Hitler and Chamberlain meeting, and
Yeah.
Chamberlain kind of getting hoodwinked by Hitler's charisma and being convinced that Hitler doesn't have any interest in invading and destroying the rest of the world. So, you have
Be
to...
smart. Don't be hoodwinked.